Behold, my glorious supporter Liliana asks me to talk about what's so great about my Discord server, The Clothesline. There are a lot of things, and also not a lot at the same time. It is not that the server is so great, it's that the community is so great. It's mostly just the people, it's the social contract that is active on the server. That, of course, was shaped by me. Of course, I'm the community manager. I take some credit for how it turned out. But for the most part, it's just because the server has a good social contract. What I mean by that is just that the understanding of how you interact with another person and what you're agreeing to when you enter a conversation with another human being on the server is a good agreement. Like the terms of that agreement are good, you know? To give you an example, in the United States, there's a bit of a social contract when you go to a bar that if you are drinking alone, you are available. And so if you want to just go to a bar and drink, you get the short end of the stick with that social contract. You're going to be hit on, and people are going to act like it's unreasonable for you to be annoyed that you're being hit on because that's what the social contract says. It says if you sign up to go to a bar, we've agreed that for people who are looking for someone to be with at a bar, you're agreeing that you are indicating that you want to be picked up if you're doing that thing. This is not true in every part of the United States, maybe, but anyway, it's certainly a lot of places. And so that's a disadvantage. If you want to go to a bar and get a drink and you don't want people to hit on you, you're not out of luck, but it certainly isn't the best time necessarily. And that is a questionable social contract. If you go to a bar and you want a relationship, it might not be the best idea because you're basically selecting for people that don't have any better way to get into a relationship than going to drunk people, potentially. Clearly, not the greatest strategy. So that is a questionable social contract. Obviously, it came about because there are some advantages, but it's not perfect, right? So on my Discord server, it might have seemed like a bit of a tangent, but there's your example. We have a situation where the social contract includes you discussing things, you giving reasons for things, you taking the mindset that I approach my videos with and applying that to how you speak to other people. And the way I approach my videos is just with reasoning and calmly saying, this is my project, and you can have a different project, and that's fine, but this is mine. And I want to help you have fun with the game by giving you build options. And if you don't want that, that's okay. But that's what I'm looking for. And to me, a universal-ish build option, the best I can do, is something that is powerful compared to the other things in its niche and that is interesting and diverse and fun, right? And what is that noise?
He's scraping the back of his house?
Oh, Roki, are you in your house? Let's let them see. Let's let them see. Let's go down and show them your house. He is in his house. Let's take a look. There you are. There you go. Oh, here he comes. He is in the bottom house. There he is. Oh, he is just a bush of fur. Look at him. He is there in his house. There he is. Okay. There you go, Roki. Good job. And to, take the time to just enjoy the game, to take the time to enjoy a moment in the middle of talking about Buildcraft or whatever, to say, this makes me have more fun, so I'm just going to do this anyway. And it's like, yeah, fine. That's great. If you know that that makes you happy when you play the game, and you're playing the game for fun, of course, and it's effective enough to suit your needs, then that's great. That's good. There's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like when I make videos, I want to choose things that are definitely very effective, decidedly effective compared to the other options, and also unique in some way, because that's the best way to make it the most likely to be fun for the most people, because it won't have any of those concerns like it's the same as some other things, so they're not interested in it, or it can't do the content, so they're not interested in it. By making sure that everything is those two things, you increase the likelihood that someone's going to have fun with some random thing. And those are reasonable qualities to focus your discussions around. It's a game, so if something is effective or fun or both, then it should be considered. And that's what we do. And that social contract is very successful. Having people just work things out based on reason and, logical ways of thinking about stuff is, surprise, like a good way, to run a community. And having it be that when people are in a community at first like that, they don't always immediately pick up on the social contract. After all, I don't write a big list of rules like most people do. And the reason I don't do that is because I feel it means nothing. It just shows people what they could do wrong. And then they have the opportunity, they're being invited to act up, rather than saying, look, just be a human to people. And in the environment, if you really want to spend time there, there just won't be any value to you unless you interact in a positive way with people. There's simply no point unless you interact in a way that's productive. And that might sound a little bit cockamamie, a little bit convoluted, but it works, surprisingly. And one of the reasons that I started a Discord community, indeed one of the reasons I started doing YouTube and Twitch at all, is because I wanted to see if that would work, if that was a way you could shape a community, and it is. And I recommend it. It's hard, but if you were running your own community, there are certainly advantages. People are really, really nice compared to other communities. People are not very toxic. People think a little bit about, are we paying it forward with this? Are we creating an environment that we want by saying things this way? And it's not perfect, like there have been occasionally problems, but I don't let anybody ban people except for me in any of my communities, in any of my public spaces, I should say. And I've only done it like 6 or 7 times. Like it's really infrequent that I have to, because usually people just pick up on it. Like people are not socially ignorant. They get social cues. They understand that if people are doing a certain thing in a space, they're going to do that. And all of this is to say that that is why it's a good community. That's why if you go in this community, you will get value out of it. You will get real discussion. It's not perfect because it's a public community, of course, but you will, for the most part, experience that it's a positive space and it's a productive space in a way that many online communities are not. Many of them are just defenses against people that don't agree with you, and they're moderated in such a way that people who don't agree with the common consensus are just removed, which doesn't make for a good community. It doesn't make for discussion. And this community isn't like that, and yet we've hit a sweet spot where, due to all of you being so astute, and due to the way that I've shaped the community to be, encouraged the community to be, what I've seeded as values into the community, we've had a situation where you can disagree, but it's okay. We can all agree that it's helpful to disagree with people, and we're just gonna talk about stuff and have a good conversation. So I hope that makes sense. I don't really think it's more complicated than that. Of course, there are other aspects. There are things like Parley, of course. There's the fact that a lot of the content that I make day to day is Parley content that is seeded by the community. It's seeded by people like Liliana, who asked for this video, who want me to talk about a certain topic that they feel is important, and then I make a video on it. And that's where a lot of my, not a huge amount of my time goes, but a lot of my time goes, and a lot of where my income comes from is just making videos about what my community wants me to talk about. And it's very healthy to allow the community to say, I really want to hear about this thing. Let's give it some air and let the community talk about it, make a video about it. And I fit that into my business structure, into my lifestyle. And I love making these. Like it's really fun to just sit down, and I've got 3 more of them today. And I'm looking forward to, I'll probably just do them all. We'll see. You'll know by the clothes I'm wearing whether I actually did all of them today. But the fact of the matter is I enjoy them, And I think that has a positive effect too. I think that having content that is goal-oriented rather than a lot of people make content that is just trying to complain or vent, and that's okay, but I do think it invites people who just want to complain or vent, If you make content that is goal-oriented, you're gonna attract people that are goal-oriented, You're gonna attract people that, I want to have fun with the game. If I make content about having fun with the game, the people who watch it are gonna be people who want to have fun with the game, So, I don't know. That might not be the answer that you were expecting. It might not be enough of a promo self-plug video, but I hope that makes sense. I think that is why my community is a pleasant place to be, so I hope that answers your question. I've been Sandy, and I want to thank Liliana once again for their support and for asking this very, very apt question. I am always happy to talk about our community.